All right, good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Mancias here. Let's bring up our day three event. What we're doing is we're adding movement to our falling object. Our falling object is going to fall down and come back up. Okay, so that's the kind of movement we're going to create: down, then up. But I also want to go ahead and knock out two. What do they call it? Two birds with one stone. So I want to go ahead and also provide left and right limits. So I want it to fall, but I want it to fall within this parameter right here, left and right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and write some numbers down. My first number is this one down here. I'm looking at the y, negative 15.72. So I'm going to write that down because I'm an old guy and I don't have good memory. 15.72. All right. I'm also going to take my left and right limits because I'm going to use those here in a little bit. My left limit is negative on the x 2604, and opposite of that would be positive 2604. Okay, so I'm going to use these numbers here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and open up the code for falling object. First thing I want to do, obviously, is add some speed integers like we did for the other player one. So public int speed. Close that out. Instead of ignoring the speed and only using the speed on the inspector, I'm going to go ahead and add a random speed while we are here. So I'm going to go ahead and start with speed equals, right? And then I'm going to add random range. So speed equals random range dot range. Okay. And that random range, you're going to give it two numbers. So what's our slowest speed? I want to go ahead and say 5. And our fastest speed, I'm going to go with 30. Okay. You can play with these numbers later on. Okay. But for right now, 5 and 30, that's a pretty good range. All right. Let's close that out with our semicolon. Some of the things I sometimes forget. So we're going to go ahead and copy the same movement. Okay. We're going to take a few things out. So Control C. This is from the player one, by the way. And we're going to go ahead and add movement over here. Comment. Falling object movement. Okay. Next line, Control V to paste that. So we know we're going to use a transform translator vector 3 right. It's not right, it's going to be down. So that's one change right there. Down. Okay. So that means we are utilizing our third number. So instead of XYZ, we're going to deal with only the Y. So we need to get rid of the axis because we're not inputting anything. So we don't need this. Okay. And that should do it right there. Okay. So now this object should fall. All right, so let's go ahead and test it. And what it's going to do is going to fall straight down and just keep going. Okay. So that's what it should do. So let's put our falling object back in the center. Our code is updating. Oh Lord, that took a little bit of time. So I'm going to go ahead and put him back in the center. I'm going to hit play, and he should fall and just keep going. Okay, and he's falling, and he's going to keep going. And as you can see, zoom out, there he is right there. Falling forever, infinite. All right, so we want him to come back up, right? We want him to come back up. So that's what we're going to do. Go back to our code. All right, so now we have our object movement falling, okay? So now we need to have the object move back to the top, okay? So that's what we want to do. We want the object to move back to the top. So comment real quick. So the following codes, plural, will allow for the object to go back to the top. Okay, so it takes a little bit of code, not a whole lot. So the first one is going to generate a random number. Remember we talked about it falling within the parameters, right? It's going to generate this random number that we talked about, our left and right limits. Limits, okay. That code is going to look like float random number with the capital N, random number, and that random number is going to be a random range, okay? And oh my goodness, dot range, capital R's on both. Oh, gotta be careful. Sometimes this Unity thinks you want this, but you really don't. Okay, so gotta be careful with that. Some of y'all, it might happen to y'all, so double check that. And parentheses to put our range, and we said our range is left and right is negative 26.04, and that's an F. And comma, and what else? Positive 26, I'm sorry. Dot 04, and that's an F also. Okay, so that's our random range, left and right. Okay, we established first, hey, this is where I want you to fall from. The next two pieces of code will allow me to bring the object back to the top. So I first got to tell it to move back to the top. Okay, so moves back to the top. Okay, and that code starts with vector 3. New POS, capital P, equals new position, which I'm going to send it back to the top. Vector 3 again, and that random number that I wanted to go back up, well, it's going to pick a random number from this, but also it's going to throw it back to the top. So random number, comma, and the Y that we wrote is 15.72, and that's an F, comma, and 0 for the X. Okay, and you can have the F. So what's going to happen is it's going to move it back to the new position, and you know what? I forgot to add my if statement. Oh my God, I am so silly. All right, so my if statement is going to happen right here. If transform position, transform dot position dot Y, because we're looking for the Y now, and if that position is less than negative 15.772 F, what do I want it to do? Oh, that's what I forgot to do, guys. So sorry about that. My first bracket, and my last bracket will be down here. Okay. I totally forgot that. So when I hit the bottom, I want it to go back to the top. Right there. When I hit the bottom, I want it to go back to the top, but also within this random range of my left and right limits on my X. So that's why I put this under the X, because this is vector 3. Vector 3, as you know, in position in player 1, that it equals X, Y, and Z. X, random number, right here. Y, 15.7, which is the top of this. And our X is 0, because we don't mess with the X in 2D. I could use a vector 2, but this is the way I learned, so this is the way I'm going to do it. Alright, so next thing I need to do is move the object back to its new position. So I got to actually tell it to move back to its new position. Move to new position. Alright, so that new position will be transform dot position. And that's going to equal new POS. Okay, close that out. Oh, I need to close these out too. Close that out. Close this out. Alright, so should work. Okay. I like to make my stuff nice and neat and aligned. Oops, it's a daisy. Right there. So, how does this read? We go back up here, public and speed. We got to create a speed, and the speed range is 5 and 30. 5 and 30. The speed right here. Okay, this is what moves the object. Then I have here the following code will allow this to go to the top. So there's several things that allow it to go back to the top. First, I got to create the condition if transform position Y is less than negative 15.72. Then these are the 3 codes that I want you to activate. First one is my random number. My left and right limit is my random range. My left limit this, my right limit that. I need to create a new position. Okay, vector 3 new position. And the new position includes the random number, the positive number up on the top of the screen, and my Z, which we don't use. Then I need to tell it, okay, once you hit that, I want you to go ahead and go to the new position. All right. So let's take a look, save it, and then let's go ahead and give it a shot. As it uploads, now I'm going to hit play, and my object should fall and come back to the top, anywhere from here to here. So we're going to pay attention to that. We're going to pay attention to the speed also. Okay, so play, falls, comes back, 15, 15. Oh, it's stuck at 15. So let's change that up. Give me 1 second to see what I did wrong. Oh, of course, I forgot to add my speed to the code. So let's go back here. I forgot to put the speed here. So I got to do a random speed because, as most of you know, this only happens 1 time. Okay, I need to make it random. So I need to go ahead and grab this. Control C. Control V. Okay, so now my random range is from 5 to 3, and now it knows to do that. Okay, so let me add a comment. Speed of objects. Okay, and hit save, and now it should work. Let's take a look. All right, update, and then play. And there it is. Now it's working. Okay, I forgot to do that. So folks, this is day 3 of our Falling Objects project. So we should be able to move our guy here. Alright, good. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do in the next video, which is our day 4 video, we are going to have to add collision. So when I hit this object, it's going to register something, and that object should get destroyed. Okay? And we'll also, I believe day 5, we add explosion to that. Alright? Alright, have a good day, and that concludes my video. And